One of the things, good percentage of first serves, I know with my match today, and yeah, a lot of
48 hours before one of the most important matches of her career, Alexandra Eala was not on a practice court. She was standing on a red carpet in Madrid, wearing a dress that her uncle designed in Manila, finished in under 2 days, and shipped across the world just in time. Think about that for a second. The same city, the same red clay, the same opponent who, the last time they met, destroyed her so completely that the second set was over in roughly 24 minutes. And here she is, in a Filipiniana gown, smiling for cameras next to Novak Djokovic, Simone Biles, and the woman who invented the perfect 10 in gymnastics. How does that even make sense? Because it shouldn't. And yet, that contradiction is exactly what makes Alexandra Eala one of the most fascinating stories in tennis right now. Not because she's ranked number 44 in the world. Not because of the hype. But because of the architecture of who she has actually become when nobody was paying close enough attention. Let's start with what actually happened on that red carpet, because people keep missing the detail that matters most. The dress she wore to the 2026 Laureus World Sports Awards at the Palacio de Cibeles was a Filipiniana, the traditional formal garment of the Philippines. Her uncle, fashion designer Rhett Ayala, conceptualized it, made it, and shipped it internationally in approximately 48 hours. She walked into a room containing the greatest athletes alive on the planet right now, and she was not out of place. She was photographed. She was quoted. She was invited. The Laureus Committee does not hand out invitations to players who don't belong in the conversation. The Instagram post she put up that night, one photograph, one quiet caption, pulled 48,000 likes and nearly 600 comments before 2 days had even passed. But here is what nobody is asking. What kind of person goes from that room with those people, that energy, that pressure of being seen, and then wakes up 20 hours later and wins a professional tennis match? That is not a normal thing to do. And yet, that is exactly what Alexandra Eala did. She beat qualifier Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-3, 6-3 on clay at the Caja Magica. Then she addressed the Madrid crowd in Spanish. Now stop and think about what that sequence of events actually requires. The emotional intelligence to hold yourself together at the Laureus Awards. The physical sharpness to compete at a high level the very next day. The cultural confidence to speak to a foreign crowd in their own language. That is not a player who got lucky. That is a player who has deliberately built herself into something. And that something is about to be tested against someone who once made her look like she had no business being on a tennis court at all. So who is Elise Mertens right now? Because if you think the ranking gap between number 44 and number 21 tells the full story, you are badly underestimating the problem. Mertens won the 2026 Australian Open doubles title in January. She is the current world number 1 in doubles. She has 6 Grand Slam doubles titles. Her career-high singles ranking is number 12. She arrived in Madrid as the 19th seed with a first round bye, a 12-7 singles record in 2026, and a clay court career record of 69 wins and 41 losses, a 62.7% win rate built on placement, on returns, and on a return game that punishes any hesitation in the service box. She is not declining. She is at a very specific, very dangerous kind of peak. And the history between these two is not neutral. On October 17, 2023, at the Jasmine Open in Monastir, Mertens beat Eala 7-5, 6-0. Eala won just 9 of 32 second serve points. The second set lasted approximately 24 minutes. Eala was ranked around number 200 at the time, and the scoreline reflected every single one of those 200 spots. But here is the question nobody asked after that match. Was that result a ceiling, or was it a starting point? Because the answer to that question is what April 24th is actually about. Start with the numbers from April 22nd, because they matter more than the scoreline suggests. Eala beat Pavlyuchenkova, and the defining number from that match is 76. 76% of first serve points won. She saved 5 of 6 break points. She broke serve twice in each set. Greg Rusedski, Amelie Mauresmo, and Martina Navratilova have all separately identified Eala's serve as her primary development challenge. In their only previous meeting, Eala won 52% of first serve points against Mertens, who is among the most clinical returners currently operating on the WTA Tour. The gap between 52% and 76% is not a small upgrade. That is a fundamental transformation. And that transformation did not happen by accident. In the weeks before the 2026 season began, Eala hit with Rafael Nadal at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. She described it in terms that left no ambiguity about its intensity. She said she was really tired after the practice session. That Rafa's intensity never goes away. That his work ethic is one of the things everyone looks up to him for, and that feeling it firsthand was something she would carry with her. When asked about clay, specifically Nadal's surface, the surface she is now trying to conquer, she was direct. She said anything she could take from Rafa, she would take with pride. She is playing on clay in Madrid right now. She is carrying that session with her onto every point. Now consider what she has done against the level of competition Mertens currently represents since that 6-0 bagel in Monaster. She has beaten Madison Keys when Keys was ranked number 5. She beat Iga Swiatek twice in the same tournament in Miami 2025, when Swiatek was ranked number 2. She beat Coco Gauff at number 4 and Jasmine Paolini at number 8. For career victories over top 10 players. The player Mertens demolished in 24 minutes in 2023 has since collected more top 10 wins than most players accumulate across an entire career. And ESPN noted in March 2026 that opponents have had a full year of film to study her patterns: the wide lefty serve on big points, the backhand down the line in transition, the ability to absorb pace before flipping defense into offense. They have the film. She keeps winning anyway. But there is one voice that carries particular weight here. Not a commentator. Not an analyst. The voice of a player who faced Eala in this exact city, at this exact tournament, on this exact surface, and needed 3 full sets to walk off the court. Iga Swiatek, at the time the reigning world number 2 and defending Madrid champion, a player who has won Roland Garros 4 times, took the first set against Eala 4-6 before recovering 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. After that match, Swiatek said this: "I understand there is hype about these young players, but you've got to be focused on yourself. Parse that carefully." Swiatek did not say Eala was lucky. She did not say the first set was a fluke. She chose the word hype and then immediately qualified it by acknowledging she had to stay focused on herself. A player who needed 3 sets against someone she considered purely a product of hype does not typically issue that qualifier. Swiatek was, in the precise and careful language of a champion, admitting that Eala's threat was real enough to require mental management. That admission came on Madrid clay in the same tournament Eala is playing right now against the same red surface where she is scheduled to face Elise Mertens, who, unlike Swiatek, has never had to manage a 3-set match against this version of Alexandra Eala. Here is what this match means mathematically. At Madrid 2025, Eala reached the second round, beating Tamanova, then losing to Swiatek 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. That run earned her approximately 35 ranking points. Those 35 points are dropping off her total right now in real time. A second-round exit in 2026 earns 30 points. A net loss of 5 before the French Open clay swing has even reached Rome. A round of 32 finish, which requires beating Mertens, earns 50 points, a net gain of 15. Eala currently sits at number 44. Her career high is number 29, reached on March 16, 2026. To be seeded at Roland Garros, she needs to reach approximately number 32. The path from 44 to 32 runs directly through Elise Mertens on April 24th. This is not a nice-to-have win. This is the architecture behind the red carpet and the clay. Eala has already signed up for the Rome Open and the Parma Ladies Open on clay in May. A structured, deliberate clay campaign that tells you exactly what the coaching team around Joan Bosch and clay season specialist Sandro Vanni is planning. Madrid is not an isolated event. It is the opening chapter of a French Open seeding campaign. Beat Mertens and the chapter opens with momentum. Lose to Mertens and Eala arrives in Rome already behind the mathematical pace she needs. It would be dishonest not to say this plainly. Eala's clay court record in 2026 is 2 wins and 2 losses. One of those losses was severe enough to raise real questions. On April 14th, just 8 days before her Pavlyuchenkova win, Eala faced Leylah Fernandez in Stuttgart. She fell behind 0-5 in the first set. She won just 42% of total points across the match. The final score was 1-6, 4-6, and it was not as close as that second set suggests. It was Eala's first match against a fellow left-hander on clay, and the tactical challenge it posed exposed real unresolved elements in her game on this surface. 8 days is not a long time to rebuild from a loss like that. The Pavlyuchenkova win was encouraging. The serve percentages were encouraging. But Pavlyuchenkova is not Mertens. Mertens' return game is specifically calibrated to exploit exactly the kind of second serve vulnerability that produced 9 of 32 second serve points won in their last meeting. Eala has not yet beaten a top 25 player on clay in 2026. Mertens at number 21 would be the first. After the Pavlyuchenkova win, Eala said this: "I've had some struggles on clay before, but I've also had some really great matches. There are still a couple of tournaments left, so I'm really excited." That is not a player performing confidence for cameras. That is a player who trained under the intensity of Rafael Nadal on this very surface and is choosing, deliberately, to walk toward the difficulty rather than around it. Pull back and look at the full picture. A 20-year-old who was getting bageled in 24 minutes when she was ranked 200th, who won just 9 of 32 second serve points in Monastir in 2023, arrived in Madrid in April 2026 having practiced with Rafael Nadal until she was exhausted, having beaten 4 top 10 players across 2 years, having won 76% of first serve points in a clean display of exactly the growth that the coaches said she needed. And she did all of this while wearing her country's formal dress to the most prestigious sports awards ceremony on the continent, in a room with Djokovic and Biles and Nadia Comaneci, and then walking out the next morning and winning a professional tennis match. Swiatek needed 3 sets on this clay to contain her 1 year ago. The ranking mathematics demands she win this match just to avoid losing ground before Roland Garros. And the opponent across the net is the woman who once made the second set disappear in 24 minutes. So the real question is this: can she solve Mertens' return game before Mertens solves the lefty serve? Can she reach the round of 32 and begin that climb from number 44 toward the Roland Garros seeding threshold? Or does the clay campaign stall here before Rome, before Parma, before Paris? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Can Eala reach the round of 16 in Madrid? The match is April 24th. The result will determine whether everything this story has built is the prologue or the beginning of the main chapter. If you want to be here when that chapter opens, this channel is where the full arc lives. Follow along, because what happens next in Madrid, then Rome, then Roland Garros is a saga that is only getting richer with every single match she plays.